Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Nervotics Q&A. We are the proud leaders in direct current education, sharing the experiences from athletes, coaches, doctors, and other professionals worldwide. Filling in for Matt today is our new host to kind of join in today's conversation. This is Jess with one S. Jess, good to see you.
Hi.
How are you
What's
doing?
up, Jake? I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's great to have you. I love the backdrop. It's everything pops. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Clearly had your eyes in it, not mine. It looks way better.
You might recognize some stuff back here.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah. It
We
looks good.
some people don't know this, but we actually power our equipment by this little guy right here. I don't know if you know who that is.
Pikachu?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's only because you told me before we started.
It's crazy that you did not know who Pikachu was. Oh, man. Well, I am very excited for today's guest. Do you want to just hop right in or
yes,
get in the swing of things?
The video does a much better job, and they don't want to hear from me anyway. So
yeah, I sure don't.
Yeah, here's about a minute of intro before we bring him on.
Let's go.
He came from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. A kid with a fastball, a dream, and a work ethic that never quit. At the University of Michigan, he built his name pitch by pitch. Records, wins, resilience. He didn't just show up, he led. Then came the pros. Second-round pick, the Colorado Rockies called his name. And the climb got steeper. The minors tested him, injuries hit, doubt crept in, but he didn't flinch. He rebuilt, refined, and kept throwing. And on May 19th, 2023, he stood on a major league mound. From long roads to bright lights, from setbacks to breakthroughs, he's still climbing, still fighting, still proving, because his story isn't about where he's been, it's about where he's headed, and he's just getting started. This is Karl Kauffmann!
Welcome. Oh, did we lose him? Oh, there you
go. Nope, I'm here.
Yeah, that was my fault.
That's a great intro.
Good to see you, Karl.
Yes, thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Hi, Karl.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. I think this is the first time I'm talking to you today.
Yes.
Well, we're very excited to have you on. First of all, before we even start, did you get married like 24 hours ago?
Yes, this Saturday I got married to my beautiful wife Lucy, and yeah, it's been a whirlwind of a couple weeks here, but excited to be here.
Well, congratulations to you, Karl, and to Mrs. Lucy.
Yeah.
We are very excited to have you here. I hope you're not in the doghouse after stealing you away so quickly.
Yeah, special thanks to Lucy for allowing you to have this time with us.
Thank you, Lucy. We love you. We appreciate for sure her letting you be on here today with us for sure.
Yes. Yep.
So we can hop right in. I don't want to take too much time of your precious time together as a married couple. So why don't we dig a little bit into your past and tell us a little bit about yourself so our listeners can know who we're talking to.
Yeah, so that the intro did a very good job describing myself. I'm from Michigan, currently live in Chicago. I went to the University of Michigan, drafted by the Rockies, spent the past 6 seasons with them. I'm currently a free agent, so looking at what the next chapter might hold. It's been a really good career, and I'm looking forward to keep going and seeing what the next steps are and get an opportunity see what the next, the team is. And, but, the RX 100 is something. When I first got into baseball, you're young, you're fresh, you're able to bounce back quickly. And in the past couple of years, the innings start to add up, and I started looking for ways to really expand and allow myself to be healthy throughout the course of the season. And I think one of the things I'm most proud of so far in my career is I've never really spent a serious amount of time on the injured list. It's been a lot of bumps and bruises. And the past few years since I've had the RX 100 has definitely been a big piece of that.
I love that. So that's one of the questions that I was going to ask you for. on is like your experience with direct current. So
Mm-hmm.
when you put on the pads for the first time, I mean, what was your experience? What were your thoughts?
There's really no way to describe or prepare you for what the feeling is going to be like.
Yeah.
I'd say a lot of the first year or so, 6 months definitely, was kind of experimenting and seeing how to apply it and ways that I could use it to better myself. You guys have the Teachable app that I was able to use, and I had a meeting with Jake when I first got it. And just learning about the opportunities and possibilities with it really are endless, whether it's the recovery, the maintenance type stuff that I would use it for, or just kind of the everyday bumps and bruises. I think one of the things that really drew myself to learning about and finding out about the RX 100 was I was looking for a way to even out a lot of the compensations that would come throughout the baseball season. A lot of it, by the time you get to game 100, your body starts to change a little bit. And every time I'd make a start, it's about getting back to the center line and kind of finding your basis point of where you can become consistent and get your body in a spot where you know how it's going to perform. And I'd say that it played a big role in helping me do that.
Well, thank you for sharing. I think one of the questions I had is, as a pitcher, not me, I can't pitch. I'm terrible at throwing. As a pitcher, like, what are some of the parts of your body that you found would be beat up the most after a long game?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the arm and everything takes a hit, but I think I really found the most success using the foot and hand baths for recovery purposes after, during the week, just to kind of clear everything out. One of the best ones that I would do is I'd put my hand in a big bath of water with the pad in there and basically move my hand in different positions. And it was every time I would do it, it would be like your hand's just uncoiling. I'd feel it in my fingers and then my wrist, and then I'd get the movement back there, and then you could feel it move up into the elbow, and then eventually, the shoulder and everything. And regardless of how many pitches I threw the day before, it was almost like, oh, I'm fresh. Like it really did a good job of helping me clean out my arm path and allowing me to, in between outings, to feel good and be able to accomplish what I need to and catch play and truly not have to take a day off from throwing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Jake, can you help me out on that? Because I feel like a lot of the people don't know or are not aware of the hand bath and the foot baths. And I feel like that's all I keep hearing lately. It's like, oh, the foot bath, oh, the hand bath. So can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah. And just for the record, if they don't know about the hand bath or foot bath, they didn't get the device from us, because it's one of the first few things we talk about. When in doubt, you're going to get some benefit from hand bath or foot bath. And, let's kind of unravel what the obvious is, even though we are putting technically current in the water, you're not actually doing that. Your body is actually the ground, so it's not dangerous. It's not like throwing a toaster in the bathtub while you're so it's a perfectly safe protocol, both of them. And the water acts as a magnifier, and essentially, kind of to Karl's point, it does a really good job in pulling out inflammation, but also activating a lot of muscles that become dormant, whether it's through injury, compensations, just years of wear and tear. Sometimes that can happen. And, we've had a lot of success in being able to do that a lot faster with the hand bath or foot bath. One thing I will say about pitchers in particular, they have made the hand bath a lot more popular than it used to be, for those very reasons, because you have so many intricate areas within the forearm that affect the wrist and the hand, that the water does much better by doing it quicker, activating these muscles rather than just placing pads and trying to find those areas. The water kind of just does it, in one session, sometimes a couple. So yeah, it's been super popular for those very reasons, but I highly recommend, when in doubt, nothing else. I don't care if your injuries from your neck all the way down to your feet, hand bath or foot bath, you're going to have some benefit from if you're consistent with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've even battled some plantar fasciitis throughout my career, and there's points when you can kind of feel it coming on, and your feet, ankles, shins, and you put your feet in there and do, 15 minutes to half an hour to whatever, and within a day or two, boom, cleared up. You just feel grounded. Your legs are active, the muscles, hopping on flights here and there. You get to a city and then it's like, okay, it really brings you, it grounds you is kind of the best way I would describe it to my teammates and people who would see me doing it.
Love that. So Karl, how did you come across Nervotics and Direct Current?
I think it's something a few years ago. Well, I can even take it back. Probably when I first got to the Rockies, there were a couple guys using the Nervotics, and it was always kind of like a mystery of what was going on over there. What are these guys doing? And then I became familiar with the technology a few years ago, and I started really diving into it and figured that this might be something that can really help, and tried it at a place and was really impressed with it. And I think the possibilities of it, not just even for everyday life, just for quality of life type purposes, I think it's very applicable to pretty much anybody who's going through things, anything that's been neglected over the years, to fire up some muscles and just get the neural pathways back firing where they should be. It's something that once I kind of dove into it and realized that that's what I wanted to get out of it, it was okay. Now how do I get a unit of my own, and how can I apply it to help me perform better on the field, but also just feel better in general.
Awesome. I think one of my favorite questions to ask, especially athletes, if you could talk to the youth, right? Because these guys think they're Iron Man and they're like, I don't need that stuff. That's for you old folks, which is very hurtful. Jake, sorry, no offense.
I'm a grandfather.
Specifically for you. What would you tell the youth, right? Because I personally, maybe I'm biased because I work for the company, but I'm also a big believer in it. So coming from you, let's say if you were talking to your younger self, what would you tell yourself in terms of why this technology is important?
Yeah, I think something that's been a big part of, getting to where I'm at is the value of quality movement, not just movement. Sometimes to a fault, I've been a big stickler on, moving properly, not just the brute force of it all, and being able to use your body how it's supposed to be, and not, it's so easy to get into compensating and getting into different body patterns that might start leading you astray and might contribute to injuries down the road. I think it's really good at getting you to activate muscles that should be firing when you're moving in certain patterns and ways. And so as a kid, if I had access to this, the ability to, while I'm learning certain strength movements and, trying to feel lower half and pitching specifically, but, you can apply it to anything. It really just helps you get in those rhythms and feel the muscles and movements that the way they're intended.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I think these guys just believe that, injuries aren't going to happen to them because they're 19, they're 18, they're young and fresh. So right. It's good to ask, at least to get your perspective, right? Because injuries can happen, but I personally believe that if you take care of yourself, you can prevent them in the future for sure, at an earlier stage.
Definitely. And I think, there's even preventing injuries. I took a ball off the shin this year, and I was able to hook it up and put it on background mode while I was sleeping. And in 2 days, I had this bone bruise basically cleared up and no swelling, and it was really unbelievable. Where I had a very similar thing 4 years ago, and it lingered for 2 months probably. And so to be able to have that, literally in less than a week, it was feeling 100%. So there's so many different ways to apply it. It's incredible.
Karl, when you talked about background mode, just for those who've never felt this device, could you explain to them what you experience on background mode?
Yeah, I think this is another big piece of, post game, got done throwing, I'd turn it on regular and have it just a slight buzz post game. for probably 15, 30 minutes. And then I would turn it on background mode for hour up to 3 hours, at night. And if I was feeling anything, and I would put it on there, put it on the background mode, it's really weird because you don't feel anything. So there's a lot of times where you're like, is it working? Is it not working? And then you get done and it's like, okay, now I see it, and I think it's something you have to do enough to where you see the benefits of it. But once you do it for a week or so and you see what it can do, as opposed to, just one time or so, I think it really makes a big difference, and it clears up, a lot of those minor bumps and bruises that you'll come across throughout the season very quickly.
And kudos to you for using it. Just those of you kind of, trying to grasp what that's like at home. Essentially, this runs on 2 waves, and you can shut that contraction wave off, that's the wave you feel. And you're running this almost like a microcurrent, and it doesn't really hit the muscle belly in a way where it's contracting it. So a lot of times people don't feel anything, but it allows you to keep it there longer because you're still generating a lot of blood flow, and that blood flow is going to, inject a lot of nutrients, and it's going to certainly, increase that healing time. And to your point, Karl, since you are, an MLB pitcher, a lot of pitchers have recently been just surrounding their arm, kind of like icing it, but instead of ice, they're using the pads to just run blood flow, after pitching.
Exactly. Yeah. Put 2 on the shoulder, 2 on the forearm, bicep, tricep, and just let it run, to the point where some guys would be, I'd be answering the door at the hotel or in the locker room, and I'd just be walking around with the machine, and it's like, it really makes a difference. I felt,
It's all about the outcomes, right? It doesn't matter if you look crazy at the end of the day. If it works, it works. Don't question. Yeah, I love doing blood flow for myself. It's just like, you feel it, but you don't feel it. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I put the pads on, and I have a lot of compensation on my knee as a runner. And when I go blood flow, it's like, you feel it, because I don't know, maybe it's just mental, but then you don't feel it. Like you said, when you turn it off, you're like, oh, it was on. It's just such a weird sensation. But I personally, I'm a junkie for blood flow. Like, I love putting the pads on and turning that thing on for sure. So, Karl, I'm going to ask you a fun question. If you had to describe direct current in one word, what would that be?
I'm going to say the first word that came to my mind, and I'd say magic.
I love that answer. Yeah. I mean, we were just talking about the blood flow, and it feels like magic. So that was a good one.
When you bring it up to people and you try to explain it, it's not the easiest thing in the world. Yeah. But you do it and you try it, and a lot of things start to make, sense in that aspect of, okay, it's helping, the neurological firing of muscles, turning things on, and just, it's turning it into a highway, that's kind of how I would describe it to my peers and everybody who would ask questions about it.
I think that's perfect, because that's not easy to describe in one word. It's different than the word I thought, and I think yours is better. Because, it kind of goes back to, what we've explained in the past. We were at a university and they couldn't explain it. And people are still researching it, trying to figure out why it works better. And the truth is, it's really about the outcomes. We have hypotheses as to why it works or how it works better, but we don't directly know. But it's truly about the outcomes, kind of like what Jessica said. So, to some degree, you can almost say it's magic. We know that magic doesn't really exist, but if we don't know how it works, it's kind of like an illusion. Right. And until we figure out exactly where we can pin down what the research says, yeah, maybe magic is better than what I was going to say.
What were you going to say, Jake?
It wasn't magic. I went through a few words. First thing that came to my mind was neurological, right? Because it's different than a TENS unit. In a TENS unit, you're thinking physiological, where you're passively doing it. With this one, you can actually move through it. But neurological doesn't really explain everything unless you incorporate some of the other things that he talked about, which is brilliant.
Smarter than you, Karl. Look at you, making Jake look bad.
Well, the bar's not set high, Karl.
Yeah, it's fun. You can try something new with it every day. frankly, and I would a lot of time in the hotels and locker room trying to experiment with it. Even my dad came over, he told me he pulled something in his obliques or something. And so I did a little search and destroy on him. And,
Nice.
he was able to be out there dancing for our wedding. So,
Look at that.
It helped him,
That's awesome.
I love that. So you're saying that the RX 100 was invited to your wedding?
Yeah, it should have
We
been.
made it. We made it.
That's funny.
I love it. I love that. That's awesome.
Of all the protocols that you've done, because I know you've toyed around with it with a lot of different things, but are there any sweet spots for you? I know everyone has a favorite where they like to go to, and it's always like there for them. Is there one in particular that once there's pain, it's like, all right, I'm going to do this first, see what happens, and then I'm going to move on to the next one?
I really think the hand bath was the best for me. I would do the search and destroy on my arm a lot, and body trying to figure out what some of those hot spots were. But when I could just sit there and I knew that in half an hour I would be able to accomplish pretty much everything that I needed to, from that recovery standpoint to do what I needed to, the hand and foot bath was very, that's kind of been my go-to.
Nice. That's encouraging to hear, because that's what we try to push. I think it's the easiest to administer on yourself. And it's probably one of the more comfortable, both hand and foot bath. Not that anything is they're intense. These, especially if you're trying to go through injuries, it's intense to do. I feel like hand bath and foot bath do a good job in, kind of keeping that towards a comfortable, moderate level and still give you a lot of results, in the long run.
Right. Yeah. And even I kind of took it to another level too with the hand bath, where I wouldn't attach the red or black, the rubber pad up to anything. I just put it in the water and let my hand be free and start doing, basic hand movements to get wrist turns, and I felt that really allowed me to get that extra movement in there and, basically doing like rice bucket type exercises in the water. And that was my favorite, I would say.
Boy, that's awesome. I love that comparison. Rice bucket. Not everybody knows what that is, but it's an old school way of strengthening your forearms and your wrists. And the water is actually acting as rice. I love that. I'm gonna steal that, but I'll call it the Karl concept. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. See, Jake, he's making you look bad, man. Why?
He's not. He's making us look good. Yeah.
He's gonna make you look better on the next call that you have.
He's well educated. He knows his stuff. This is awesome.
I mean, to be fair, we do have a pretty good trainer. I don't know who that is, but
it's Mason.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I don't think I have any other questions for you, Karl. I know that you're trying to celebrate your wedding here. I don't want to hold you up too much.
Yeah, kudos to you.
No,
thank you, Lucy, if you can hear us.
Yeah, you and your wife, Lucy, for sure.
She's a keeper.
Yes, she is.
Jake, did you have any other questions for Karl since we still have him?
Goals and plans? I know you said you're a free agent. Are there things in the future you're looking forward to? What to expect? We'd love to be in touch. But yeah, goals and ambitions in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think, now that I'm a free agent, just hoping to get an opportunity from another team to get a chance to keep doing what I love. It's everything I've ever worked for as a kid. My parents' family, everybody put me in a position to be here. And, it's definitely a different perspective now, not necessarily having anything set in stone or a lot of unknowns, but just taking it day by day and looking forward to the next opportunity, hopefully.
Awesome. Well, I have no doubt that you're gonna see another team coming soon. As a Yankees fan, we always need pitchers. Hopefully, they're looking at you. I'd love to cheer for you in the pinstripes. But either way, we wish the best to you in your career.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. The RX 100 has been great.
How can our audience find you, Karl? On social media, how can we find you?
Yeah, my Instagram handle is just my name, Karl Kauffmann. Yep, right there on the screen. I'm not sure if I have Twitter. It's been a little bit, but Instagram's probably the easiest one. But yeah, other than that, probably on LinkedIn and stuff like that from a while ago, but no.
Yeah. All good.
I love it.
Yep.
Well, Karl, if you can stick around for a few minutes afterwards when we close out, but if you have to get going, we completely understand. We don't want to hold you up with Lucy, so it's your call.
No, all good. I have some time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Karl.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Karl.
One S, Jess.
Jake with one J.
That's right. Good to see you.
Good to see you. What do you think? Did we mess something up?
I'm sure we did, but if we did, it probably has a lot to do with my end. So I'll put that in the suggestion box and we'll try to fix it there. But other than that, I love your background and I love seeing you on these things. Hopefully we can have you on a lot more.
I would love to be invited back.
I think that was an invite back.
Well, I'll be here. So as long as I'm invited, or I'll have to hold Matt hostage or something in order.
That's wonderful.
Be like, sorry, Matt is not to be found anywhere. I guess I'll have to hop in.
It would be cool to see you and Matt together.
Yes, that would be interesting, but it'd be, I don't know any of this stuff. I'm just learning as we go. Yeah.
Well, I will say the longer you stay here and the more stories you hear, the stories never get old.
Yep.
And we hear some of the same ones over and over again of success. But secondly, you learn more from them than they learn from us in the long run. A lot of my education wasn't when I was learning this device. It was the years that kind of piled on and going through treating others or just learning from their experience. So yeah, you're going to pile on a lot of knowledge just from the clients that we have.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. Well, you know me as a social media guru. I don't know if the people listening don't know that, but I am the one handling all of our social media stuff. So I definitely am educated. I was just joking when I said I didn't know what I was talking about. But 100%, you definitely learn from watching other people and how they use it and stuff like that, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, and if anybody's wondering how our social media got better, there you go. The answer is
well, thank you, Jake. Thank you.
True story. That pretty much wraps today up. I guess anybody else out there, thank you for joining in and listening. If you have, any additional questions of how to get involved working through us on our website, it's probably the best way to check us out. It's nervotics.com. That's NERVEOTX.com. In the meantime, Jess, thank you. Good to see you again. And thanks everybody else for joining us.
Alrighty, y'all. Have a good one. Bye.